Today I'm going to talk about a topic that I did not intend on recording today. And it's just on my mind because this is my birthday week. Yay for me, right? I think birthdays are super special. And if you're not celebrating your birthday, then you should be. I mean, I never quite understood why some people don't think it's a big deal. It's the day that you came into this world and you are one of one. You are special. So it should be celebrated. And I personally have had a great birthday week. And you know what? It makes me think of birthdays past. While I am happily married, I went through a period where I was dating and definitely went through some rough relationships, which we'll get into in a second. And I am here as a buyer beware kind of episode. And what I mean by that is that around your birthday or any holiday, special occasion, Valentine's Day, there are guys that may creep back into your life. And I want to share a story with you and maybe have you handle this well. Because when you end a relationship with an ex and you didn't get the closure that you needed or searched for, then it can be very tempting when no matter how many years later this person shows up again in your life for you to fall back into the same trap and maybe not see the things that presented themselves as red flags before, or just wanting to know what happened. So let me tell you a little story because I want you to approach these situations using your head and not your heart, which can be very difficult. Because like I said, old wounds. So let me just give you a little history. I was dating someone for a few months. And it was someone that really heavily pursued me and then ended up ghosting me. And this was but several years ago, over a decade ago, right? 15 years ago. I don't want to age myself here, even though I just had another birthday, but this person just slowly disappeared out of my life. And if you've been around here for a little while, then you may have heard a little bit about this story before. But I racked my brain to figure out what happened. Like, what did I do? What went wrong? Why was there a sudden change? It was a complete 180. Went from being serious, talking about a future together, to just drifting away and not responding to calls or texts or emails. So, yes, that bothered me. For someone that likes to know answers and understand, and I'm like, hey, if you don't want to be with me, great. Let's move on. But you search your soul, your heart, your mind for what did I do? What went wrong? Because you don't want that to happen again. And if this has never happened to you, which it had not happened to me before, being ghosted is horrible. I feel like it's a common thing these days, which is horrible to think about. But being ghosted is the worst because they don't give you the courtesy of even a goodbye. Like, it's over. There's no defining moment when you know it's over. There are little teeny excuses and little bits of contact, but then they just don't say, I want to break up, or I don't want to be with you anymore. Nothing. So that's what happened. And so I racked my brain and tortured myself for, I don't know, probably 6 months, I want to say, something like that. And then let's just say that he sent me an email, I don't know, a few years later, basically saying that for him, the chase is the fun part, and that's what he likes to do. Let's just leave it there, because that's the gist of the email. So, almost 5 years after the ghosting, my birthday rolls around. I'm on a trip in Florida with a friend. I'm having a great time. And, you know, your birthday comes, you're getting texts, you're getting messages, you know, you're getting posts. And there was a Facebook message, and it was from this person. And I was like, huh, well, this is interesting. So, now keep in mind, I was well over this person, but there had never been any kind of real closure. And I thought, well, if he's reaching out to wish me happy birthday, I don't know why, but if he's doing that, I'll be polite. I feel like you need to rise above other people. Like, don't let them bring you down to their level. Always be polite, respectful. So, you know, I see this Facebook message, happy birthday. So I did respond, thank you, like very brief, nothing major. And he continued the conversation to the point where I thought, I might actually be able to get some answers. But regardless, you know, very cautious, right? So we talked, and the answers he gave me, trying to protect the innocent here, or the guilty, whichever, the answers he gave me, and the conversation went in a direction where I felt comfortable considering dating him again. Yes, I know, there's probably an audible, you know, which if I were in your shoes, I would think the same thing. So, again, it's my birthday. I'm feeling like I'm still single, right? You know, dating it's hard out there. It's not for the weak. And in my next episodes are going to talk all about that. So stay tuned. But this is important to know. So I start dating him. Now, I went in, and this is where I want to share what worked in terms of, if this should happen to you, someone comes back into your life and like pops up, they meant a lot to you, because I did love this person. It wasn't just anyone. I did love this person. So you're a little vulnerable around your birthday. You know, you're like, oh, another year, still single. But again, I was cautious about dating him. And I agreed, like, casually date or have a date, like get together. And I went into it wanting to do things differently than I did the first time. Now, the first time, I was very resistant, but then I was won over a period of time. This time, knowing how he played the game the first time, I wasn't going to let myself fall into the same, pothole, basically, or the same trap that I fell into before. So, I did date him, and I did like the person. I always enjoyed dating the person. I still enjoyed dating the person. But I was on guard. And I think that's important. If you're going to go into this situation, don't put your heart on the line. And I'm not saying people can't change, because they can. And I feel like while revisiting an ex or a relationship is tricky, there are people that can and do change. And I'm one of those people that believes in that and likes to think the best of someone. So, but I had a guard around my heart. I wasn't going to be stupid. I was going to, definitely remember what happened the first time and look for any red flags, any signs that things were trending in the same direction. So we were, not quite 2 months in. And again, casual. Kept it casual. And the same excuses started to come up, delaying, like if we were going to see each other, when we would see each other, contact, etc. There was an event that he was going to, and I got myself invited. I felt good about that. That was very rewarding because the first time I felt completely screwed over. And for me to have him take me somewhere I really wanted to go, that felt good. And again, I wasn't in it to be malicious. I didn't go into it with malicious intent. I went into it with good intentions, but guarded. However, when that event came up, I did get myself invited, and I'm glad that I did. So, like I said, little things started to crop back up again. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And sure enough, it started to, I don't want to say escalate, but it started to move in the same direction that it did before. Same types of excuses, etc. So what I did was I took back control of how it ended this time. And what I did was I sent him an email because, well, it was going to be a little wordier than a text message would warrant. And I just wanted to write it all out in an email. It's easier to write things out. So I sent him an email and I just wished him well and basically ended it. I think I noted that I could see where this was going, and I am not interested in going back down that road again. This was, casual for me, and obviously we're not like-minded. We're not looking for the same things. So again, I wished him well and basically have a nice life. And that was so empowering because even though I was vulnerable at the time he contacted me, I still remembered what had happened, how it ended, and I went in guarding my heart, guarding myself, making sure that if I saw anything like the last time, I would be the one to disappear, go away. But of course, I gave him the respect that I should have gotten the first time and just addressed it head on. And I think that's, like I said, very empowering. And if you're considering exploring an old relationship, just don't ignore the red flags that showed up. Don't ignore what happened before. Remember why you broke up, why you're not together, and just keep that in mind because first time, what do they say? First time, shame on him. Second time, shame on me. And that's what I didn't want to happen. I wanted to be in charge. I didn't put that out there to him, but I wanted to be in charge this time. And that's what you should do if you consider this. And it did provide some closure because it just proved to me that this wasn't my person. This is how this person is. It has really nothing to do with me. And that's what you should realize, is that if someone doesn't want to be with you, it has nothing to do with you, and it's all about them. And you know what? It's, moving on. Get yourself to the point where you're over that person and you've answered those questions. And that way, also, your curiosity is answered, because you're now no longer going to wonder, what if? Because now you know for sure. So thank you for listening to my story, and I hope you treat yourself on your birthday. And I'll see you here next time on the X Life podcast, where you leave behind your X life for your next life.